To you, sweetheart, hello.
Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome. Can you hear me? All right. Welcome to Windsor Senior Center's 4th annual Senior Variety Show. Thank you all for joining us today. We're going to have a lot of fun this afternoon. Just a friendly reminder to please silence your cell phones during the show. Thank you. First, I would like to thank the staff and volunteers who helped organize this show today. We appreciate each and every one of you and all of your hard work. Millicent, Alma, Carol, Tony, Rich, and to anyone I may have forgotten, thank you so much for all of your help today. This is certainly a fun afternoon. A very special thank you to Mr. Gary Dogwitz. Gary is our Assistant Building and Facility Manager for the town of Windsor. Gary's set up and will run the sound and the lights for today's show, along with Carol McCumber. Gary deserves a big round of applause for all the time and effort he puts into this show each year. He was here for dress rehearsal yesterday, and he's here with us again today. He's here when we need him. So thank you so much, Gary. I'd like to welcome back our fabulous sponsors for today's event from Seabury. Our MC for the day, Lisa Duncan. Lisa is the Community Outreach Specialist for Seabury. And Sherry Shaft is here with us as well today. Welcome, Sherry. She's the Administrative Coordinator from Seabury. Thank you for all of your time, for your support of our center. We appreciate it. It makes it the wonderful center that we have today. Thank you so much. To our amazing acts, thank you for the time that you've put into preparing your acts to entertain us this afternoon. You're all amazing individuals. Your willingness to participate in this event is awesome, so thank you all so much. We have 11 incredible acts for you today, so buckle up and enjoy the show. We will have a brief 10-minute intermission, and the talented Mr. Joe Casey will delight us with his piano playing during that time. Once the show is complete, we invite you to join us in the Senior Center cafeteria for some refreshments. So without further ado, it's showtime. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the awesome show we have lined up for you today. And again, Miss Lisa Duncan.
I want to start by just thanking you so much for, this is my 3rd year coming here. I've been with Seabury for 3 years and being part of this performance. It's always so much fun and everybody really has such a great time. It's interesting this year to have it be a variety show instead of a talent show. I'm really looking forward to seeing that change. For those of you who don't know about Seabury, we're your neighbors in Bloomfield. We are a continuing care retirement community, so we have everything from independent living all the way up through skilled nursing, and then we also have a home care agency, which I represent, visiting nurse and home care. So that's just my little elevator speech about Seabury. If anybody needs any additional information about us, feel free to come see me after the show. But until then, enjoy, and we'll welcome the first act.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bernie Simmons, and I was asked from this illustrious arrangement of yeah. Well, what more can I say? Yes, these lovely chair hula ladies wanted me to deliver a special message to all of you and their fellow seniors. Seniors to be, and each of you can't read this. They want to convey a message to you that even though you have a disability or an infirmity, you can still exercise by sitting down. And they want to give you a demonstration of that, and also to make sure that you always keep moving. That's for your health and for your safety, by sitting down and doing all your exercises. And now we present to you the chair hula dancers. Thank you.
Sweetheart, aloha, aloha from the bottom of my heart. Keep the smile on your lips, brush the tear from your eye. One more aloha, then it's time for goodbye to you, sweetheart. Aloha. In dreams I'll be with you, dear, tonight, and I'll pray for that day when we two will meet again. Until then, sweetheart, aloha. Keep the smile on your lips, brush the tear from your eye. One more aloha, then it's time for goodbye. In dreams I'll be with you, dear, tonight, and I'll pray for that day when we two will meet again. Until then, sweetheart, aloha. Till then, sweetheart, aloha.
What a great message that was. We really enjoyed the show, and what a great message to be able to sit down and still exercise safely. We love that. Sherry, what did you think?
Well, I have to tell you, I've been to Hawaii a couple times and I've seen some mighty fine hula dancing, but you ladies, you need to give them some lessons. That was awesome.
And we're going to look forward to, I believe you have another number at some point in the show? Later, so we're all pretty excited about that, and that's a come join. So I expect to see everybody do a little shuffle. So the next act, please welcome to the stage a very talented gentleman, Mr. Frank Alt, presenting his reading of O'Callahan Brothers' World Class Pranksters. Enjoy.
I've written this little remembrances of a picturesque village in central Pennsylvania that I enjoyed as a youngster in the 40s and 50s. Names have been changed to protect the guilty. Patrick O'Callahan and Bridget Deneen O'Callahan anticipated a happy Irish family, and in 1938, after 2 years of marriage, they ushered Patrick Jr. into their world. And 2 years after Pat, Bridget gave birth to Sean. And although they had hoped for a larger family, they were happy with the 2 boys. Pat Jr., with his bright red hair and green eyes, left no doubt to his Gaelic heritage. On the other hand, Sean was a dirty blonde with blue eyes, but still had the Irish devilment in his personality. Pat Jr. was in the 4th grade and Sean in the 2nd grade when their first prank came to light. It was a rainy afternoon when they came home from school. Because of the weather, it was going to be an afternoon in the house. And with the possibility of boredom, Sean had an idea. Bridget was busy cleaning the bedrooms, and her father not home from work yet. Sean went to the pantry and grabbed a new package of Oreo cream-filled cookies, along with 2 kitchen knives. He and Pat sat down in the dining room at the dining room table. Sean took a knife and separated the cookie halves, and then scraped off and ate all the filling. Pat followed Sean and did likewise, and they decided it was a tasty treat. And they kept on enjoying the filling, and it didn't take long before they had packed a couple dozen Oreos. No, the trouble laid ahead. If their parents seen what they had done, Pat said, "I got it." He snuck upstairs to the bathroom and grabbed a tube of Colgate toothpaste. Then the rascals proceeded to fill the centers of all the cookies they assaulted, then carefully replace them in the center of the package. Pat Sr. was not a proud parent when he figured out what they had done. One afternoon nearing the end of Pat's year in the 5th grade, Miss Twiley caught him whispering to Joni Wilson, who sat across the aisle from him. Pat was asked to stand, and then the stern Miss Twiley told him, "You'll stay in after school and write 100 times on the blackboard, 'I will not talk in class.'" And since his friends had been planning to have a ball game up at the ball field now, he couldn't go. And he was upset. But he'd do what he was instructed to do. Class was dismissed. Pat went to the board and started writing, "I will not talk in class. I will not talk in class. I will not talk in class. I won't talk in class." And when he was about halfway finished, Miss Twiley informed him that she had a conference. "But the janitor will be here, so do not leave until you've finished." And as a good young student he tried to be, he actually wrote, "I will not talk in class 101 times. Since missing the ball game, indignation was festering, and he had to prank his teacher. Since he didn't see the janitor anywhere around, he opened a window and fired all the erasers in the room out onto the playground. He then collected every piece of chalk he could find and buried them in the dumpster outside. When Miss Wiley arrived for class the next morning, she wasted valuable class time scouring up supplies for her blackboard lessons. That evening, once again, Miss Wiley had a conference scheduled, this time with Mr. and Mrs. O'Callahan. Now, Bridget O'Callahan was a talented baker, and her Irish cream-filled donuts were always a popular item at the St. Severin Catholic Church Bazaar bake sale. Pat Jr., now 13, and Sean, 11, had learned that by carefully inserting a straw into the ejection hole on their mother's cream donuts, they could suck the cream filling out. And of course, the filling was the best part of the pastry. St. Severin's Bazaar was being held on Saturday, so now on Friday evening, Bridget was busy preparing her usual donation of 6 dozen of her special Irish cream donuts. Once she had finished and boxed all her wares, she headed up to bed. Problem coming. The brothers were still roaming free in the house. And the donuts being fair game for the boys, they unboxed 6 of the 6 dozen and proceeded to evacuate the filling from them. Next chore was to make them appear unchanged. And they found Bridget's pastry bag and filled it with mayonnaise. The donuts were randomly replaced and boxed again. Again, another successful bazaar for St. Severin's, and as usual, Bridget's specialty was the first item to sell out. After a few days, word started to filter back that a few of the donuts were not up to the usual quality. The O'Callahan brothers are now restricted to their property for 30 days. And as teenagers and having no other siblings, they felt it was their duty to protect Annika. Annika, their cousin, was the only child of Seamus and Eva O'Callahan. And with the personality to charm anyone and being rather pleasing on the eyes, she is forever one of the gems of her Miles Township high school class. Annika truly loved going to the movies and would never turn down an opportunity, even if she might have seen the show before. Her classmate, Joe Perrock, football star and National Honor Society member, asked if he could take her to the first showing at the Majestic Theater to see 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. And while this date was not unexpected by the students at Miles Township High School, it was problematic for the O'Callahan brothers. Joe Perrock wasn't from Pleasant Hill. He lived in Haystown. And if there isn't a law, there certainly should be. If you're not from Pleasant Hill, you cannot date a girl from Pleasant Hill. Time to prank one Joe Perrock. Pat Jr. asked his dad if Sean and him could borrow the family car for the evening. Without thinking anything out of order, permission was granted. The brothers drove into Hoylesburg, cruised past the Majestic, and sure enough, around the corner on Maple Street, there was a Perrock family car. The street was quiet, and Pat parked 2 spaces past Joe's car. The brothers exited the car and retrieved the tow chain their father kept in the trunk. Sean slid under the Perrock car and secured the chain around the rear end housing. Pat took the other end of the chain and attached it to the base of the parking meter. And with enough slack in the chain to create chaos, they left and were back home by the time the movie was over. They wondered just how much excitement was occurring in Hoylesburg. Elvis Presley helped create a new style of music, rock and roll, that was thrilling the teenagers around the country in April of 1955. Miles Township High School was having their annual Warriors sock cop Saturday night at the high school gym. And with this new style of music, the place will be jumping. And as expected by all, Joe Perrock and Annika O'Callahan were king and queen of the dance. Nothing that Pat or Sean could do to disrupt this ideal couple, but they may provide cover for some devious actions. And while the students were rocking to Rock Around the Clock, Maybelline, or Hearts of Stone, and slow dancing the Melody of Love, Sincerely, or Unchained Melody, turmoil is about to happen down the school's hallway. As hard as the chaperones tried with loud music and bopping dancers, it was impossible to see everything. Pat Jr. was first to depart, followed by Lenny Woods and then Sean. Two of their classmates suspected something was up and followed the hooligans down the darkened hall. And within 15 minutes, all five had arrived back and resumed dancing. Monday morning, the students and faculty were returning to class, and all were happy with the success of the sock hop. When Mr. Johnson opened the teacher's lounge door, he was astounded to find that all the furniture was gone. Next door to the lounge was the boys' coat room, and when he opened the door, sitting in the easy chair was Pat O'Callahan. Sean O'Callahan and Lenny Wood sat on the couch, and the other seats were filled by the other young men. Once again, the O'Callahan brothers were suspected, but with no witnesses, nothing could be proven. On Friday evening, Sean and Pat jumped into the family car and headed to Hoylesburg. A couple trips around the business district, there wasn't any activity to excite them. Pleasant Hill might have more going on, so they headed back to the village. As they traveled down Route 53, they were about to pass a Gorton grocery. Pat slowed to a stop, jumped out of his car, and seeing no witnesses, he opened his trunk, grabbed the grocery's S&H green stamp sign, and threw it into the trunk, and closed the lid and sped off. Now Sean, he couldn't understand what Pat was thinking. And as they neared the turnoff for home, Pat pulled into the driveway of the Johansson Funeral Home. He retrieved the S&H sign and placed it smack in the middle of the funeral lawn. Over the weekend, there was a lot of chatter with people wondering if the funeral home was really giving stamps to the grieving families. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alt. That was really wonderful. And the shenanigans of the O'Callahan brothers, huh? That was really great. I sort of felt like it painted a picture. You could almost see, what they were doing, what they were up to back then.
I also had to wonder if Frank told us some of his stories, how much they might parallel some of those.
Those were all Frank's stories.
So Frank, he shared some of the work that he's done at the Senior Center Writing Workshop. And it's held every other Monday and instructed by Miss Elizabeth Thomas, just for a little additional information. Our next act, you are sure to thoroughly enjoy. I will tell you that Rebecca provided me these little talking points before I introduce the act, but I had the good fortune of being here yesterday at the dress rehearsal. So although Rebecca wrote The Beautiful Ballroom Dancing of Mary Lou and Mark Deshaies, what it really is a sexy samba. And here it is. Enjoy.
Suspicion, to get you by my side.
it is warm up here. Woo! That was great. And that was to Drop It On Me by Ricky Martin, for those of you who want to run out and get the CD. That was really wonderful. They looked like they were having so much fun.
I hope when I'm 30 I can still do that. They did an awesome job, and I think all of us would love to be able to get up and do that, but I know I'm not brave enough. I had to skip. That was wonderful.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you so much. So, up next to the stage is the Sama Sama Multicultural Dance Group of the Windsor Senior Center, and Sama Sama means united. They'll be performing for you Raka Hula. And now the group will dance to a song entitled Aloha. I'm not sure if this is one following another. Just bring them on out. Let's bring them out.
She moves her hips up to her fingertips, I feel I'm heaven bound. And when she starts to sway, I've gotta say, she really moves the grass around. Rock, a hula baby, rock, a hula baby got a hula loop from Honolulu. That rock a hula baby of mine. I love to kiss my little hula miss, I never get the chance. I wanna hold her tight all through the night, but all she wants to do is dance. Rock, a hula baby, rock, a hula baby got a hula loop from Honolulu. That rock a hula baby of mine. Baby got a hula loop from Honolulu. That rock a hula baby of mine. Oh, that rock a hula baby of mine.
I was doing a little rockin' the hula of my own over there in the corner. That was great. And they're coming back on to do a song entitled Aloha, and the moves go to the popular electric slide. So, anybody who wants to come up and join us for the No. If I'm up here, you're up here. And so, yeah, if anybody wants to come up, some brave souls. Rebecca, I believe you're requested. Carol, come on, kids. All right.
Or move in your seat.
Yes, right. All right, here we go.
Say good morning in the old Hawaiian way. morning in the old Hawaiian way. When I'm thinking of home and my thoughts start to roam, I can hear the ocean calling me to play. In the pineapple sun, that's the way to have fun. Say good morning in the old Hawaiian way. Aloha, aloha, blue skies and rain, sweet as sugar cane. In the morning light you will surely see. Aloha, aloha, watch the gentle breeze moving through the leaves. There's no place that I'd rather be. Blue skies and rain, sweet as sugar cane. In the morning light you will surely see. Aloha, aloha, watch the gentle breeze moving through the leaves. There's no place that I'd rather be.
I would like to introduce to you the members of the Sama Sama Multicultural Group of Windsor Senior Center. The first one is Rick Corso, our one and only guy. Betty Moody. Hey, Betty, hello. Helen Jones. Woohoo. Cynthia Gomers. Cynthia, come on. Bessie Garcia. Yay! Whom am I missing? Iva. Who else? And one of our expert professional hula dancers, Carol Wong. Woo-hoo! Carol, and yours truly, Josie Rodriguez.
These people know how to have fun.
That was some good stuff right there. Good job.
Lisa, did you notice who had the biggest smile of all?
This gentleman right here, he was having some fun.
And guys, can you tell me why? 6 women, 1 man. Yep.
All right, so that was fun. Okay, so please welcome to the stage our next act, Edna Mayer with her heartwarming poetry. Let's give Edna a big round of applause.
Hello, everybody. I'm Edna, and when I was a full-time nun, I had everything ready way on time. And I was just a perfect person, of course. And now I'm a retired nun, and it has led me to Connecticut. And I've only been here 10 months, but the best thing I've experienced since I came here is the senior center. And as you see, I'm still keeping up to my perfect nun thing, my non-perfect nun, by arranging now for this, today, at this minute, this second. So I'm really happy to be here. And since you know I'm a retired nun, I thought I'd start with a little joke, a nun joke. It's probably non-perfect, but anyway. Now I forget what I was going to say. But that's allowed for elderly people who like to still think we're as young as we used to be. And it's something that I found, it was sent to me. You know, you get a lot of free stuff in the mail, some that you're interested in and some that you're not. But this really caught my eye because it has a couple little, keep me timed because I have to get off of here in 5 minutes. And I thought it would break up the poetry. Oh, and the second wonderful thing was the second thing I found up here in Connecticut was Elizabeth Thomas, who is the poetry teacher. And so, that's not the joke, that's true. But and this isn't really a joke, this is a little saying that came with a bunch of sayings in the mail. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Okay, because this seems a little high, but if you're hearing it, that's fine. This is the little saying. Good friends are just some of the little blessings God gives us to bring us joy. I thought that was wonderful. And I don't have really friends up here because I never lived. I'm from Philadelphia. You know the Philadelphia Phillies? Okay. And I came here from Baltimore because I was teaching there. And one of the best gifts I got there was Norfolk State University, which is a college that was mostly made up of citizens of a different color from us. And they were incredible. I didn't have them as part of my speech, that's why you've got to watch the time. I might have to skip the poems. But anyway, when I went there, it's a regular college, you know, it's Norfolk State College. It's not a nun's college. It's not a, you know, and it was the first year that we were allowed to ask to be teaching or working or doing some kind of thing outside the Catholic Church. It didn't have to be a Catholic institution. So I didn't have to be saying amen after every class. But I learned how to say Baruch atah Adonai when I was with some Jewish people. But this could be for next year's thing. But I like that if I'm still here. But I don't get thrown out for being a non-distinguishable nun. Because nuns should do none of this and none of that. But a lot of other nice things. So, I told you that. Okay, this is my appetizer poem. But anyway, I'll tell you about Baruch atah, because some people think I'm Jewish, and I think I am too. But anyway. Okay, this is my appetizer poem. It's short, and I'm not sure poems are too understandable when you hear them told as when you see them read, because the words sometimes are a little different from words we usually use. I call it Snow-Blessed Vision. A snow-blessed tree, beautifully bent, standing and, oh, I said it backwards. Start over, erase. Okay. A snow-blessed tree, beautifully bent, standing storm-struck, speechless in its glory, inviting all to stop, look, and listen to its muted story. Be blizzarded. And this one is longer, so I might make a few mistakes. But anyway, we can always erase. This is called Hope-Filled Ministry. Tottering on a teacup with wonder in my heart positions me with hapless hope for future ministry. Retirement years seem selfishly seductive in my simple search for blessed give and take with those in need and not too far away. I do believe God smiled on me and led me to a fountain of strangers in our land, immigrants from countries far away, who came with hope in their heart and for themselves and for their children. I'll read that line again. Who came with hunger in their hearts for themselves and for their children. Mothers separated from children recently, separated, taken away. That's not part of the poem, that's what, I just got so upset when I heard about that. I'm still upset. And I think I'd go and fight for those to get put back together, even if I had to steal them. That's not in the poem either. Anyway, but I was really taken with that when I heard of it, and it still is hard. So I'll just read that line and keep going. There's not much more anyway. From countries far away, who came with hope in their hearts for themselves and for their children. 7 years later, now, my teacup of hope continually blesses my immigrants, the ones I now teach English to. With God Bless America, their song of choice, and I too am blessed by their love and joy. We are family. We are filled with hope. Amen. That's amen to that one. And I gave my in-between thing unexpectedly. I didn't expect to do that in the poem itself when I talked about our good friend, President Trump. God's dream. This is my last one. Relax. I won't be talking forever. As I see it, feel it, and am steeped in wonder, I believe God has a dream. A secret dream flows deep within our hungry, hope-filled human hearts that long for blessed fulfillment, seeking, knocking, watching, waiting, hoping for a Bible taste. Maybe you're not hoping, but I always am. Blessed assurance that God is near, God is good. God's ways have invaded my ways, your ways, our ways. With the gift is given the call to share with one another. Word gifts, newly wedded by the secret stream within. Soul speaks in surprising and blessed ways. Art gifts. Art gives color with a blessed vision which looks beyond seeing and unseen hues. Hues. Gifts of speech and silence that meet a moment's need. Gifts of prayer and baking, gardening, and welcoming, and many other gifts that we can name and frame in your hearts. Thank you, God, for your dreams within us, diversity, blessing. Let us take up our gifts and dance. If I had realized that was the poem I'd be using last, it makes me feel like the dancers should come again. That just we're here doing the electric slide. That's one of my favorite dances. And I never got to dance too much, no, but we always danced at the parties we gave for other people that were having anniversaries or this or that. So all things are many old things are available from nuns that you might not have thought of before. So I'm here now, and I don't have a ministry that I have to do. I've joined a poetry class, and I volunteered to come here and do this. I mean, I practically live here. Come here for sports in the morning, and lunch at noon, and poetry. No, poetry's always early, but other things. But I just have to share this one thing at the end that I can forget it in a minute because. But it's worth it if it comes back. Oh, that did it. We were in habits, black and white, and I was in that for 13 years, and in 1968 we got the invitation to wear regular clothes with a special kind of a cross as our nun identity. Okay, but I came up here, and before I just came up 10 months ago, but in the interim between the 13 years I was a black and white nun, and I became an ordinary looking nun. I think sometimes, most of the time when I come here I wear slacks, but this is a dressy affair. So. And this is my dressiness, believe it or not. I love wearing sandals. But I was meeting people when I first came, because I didn't know anybody. And I mentioned that I was a sister of Notre Dame de Namur, yet you have other sisters of my order. I live with them. That comes from my perfect days. I'm not talking to you. And I was on a plane, I was here, but I was going on a plane back to Baltimore for some occasion, and I'm always meeting people. That's why they told me I should only talk 5 minutes. But if it went over to 10, I would be pardoned. I didn't know I was so funny. Thank you. I don't know if they're laughing because it's over or because... But anyway, what I wanted to tell you that several times things have happened that people don't know I'm a nun. And I'm glad they don't, because people say things to me now that they wouldn't have bothered with before or thought I was interested in. You know, that kind of thing. Are you still hearing me, or am I... Yeah. I need to be careful. Anyway, I'm on a plane, and going down to Baltimore. I flew down to Baltimore. And there was a lady on a plane sitting next to me. I didn't know her, she didn't know me. But we got talking, which happens with me many times. And she saw my cross. And she said, that's interesting, because you don't usually see a cross that's the same width and length, you know? They're usually long length. Are there any hanging up around? I'll have to go hang myself up. Oh, here I am, hanging up, if you can believe it or not. But what I wanted to tell you was that this lady said, you're a nun? Well, we were talking, and then she asked me where I did ministry, and of course I was working at that time I was working in a Catholic place that she knew was Catholic. And she said, when did you leave the order? I said, oh, I'm still in it. I'm in it 62 years. This year, 62 years I've been a nun. Oh, she said, well, and she's looking at me because I was ordinary. I wasn't even as dressed up as I am right now. So I said, oh, I'm still not a nun. She said, oh, do you ever wear the habit? I said, no. You mean the black and white one? I said, this is my habit. She said, oh. And there was a guy taking in on the conversation. He was overhearing us. He was across the aisle from where I was. And he said, ma'am, you're a nun? You don't wear the habit anymore? I said, oh yes, I do. This is the habit. I said, this is the habit. I said, we stopped wearing the habit in 1968. So she said, well, he said, why did you do that? I said, well, there were a couple accidents that were very serious and happened because of the long dress and the heavy surge, whether it's summer, spring, more, winter, whatever. And a lot of the sisters of different orders got together and they said, there's no reason why we have to wear that particular outfit. We were founded in 1803. Everybody wore heavy serge because they had no heat in their houses. Everybody, wore dark clothes. That's the kind of material, fabric they had. So I said, so this is our habit now. And the sisters, if they still want to wear it, can wear it, but they don't have to. So, so that I realized, we that are nuns, we know what we decided to do. But I have found out since that incident several years back that I look forward to talking with people. I don't know if they're a nun or not. I don't know if they're Catholic or not. I don't know if they're, Sometimes I think I have more Jewish friends. But that's because I lived in a Jewish building for a while. It was a Jewish apartment house. That was great too. But I'll save that for next year, if they'll still have me back. But I want to thank you all. Oh, and have a
Thank you so much. That was really, what a tough act to follow.
I'll save that for the next time too.
I don't have enough material for that. In fact, I was sitting over there trying to think of a clever pun that would include the word nun, but it was just nonsense that I came up with. Ba-dum-bum. All right, so, okay. Thought I was going to have to get a hook there for the nun. All right, Joe Casey. Is that where we're at? Joe Casey fills the Windsor Senior Center Cafe from time to time with his beautiful music. Playing the piano is just one of his many talents. Please give a round of applause to Mr. Joe Casey, who will be entertaining you with a comedy routine today. Let's give it up for Joe.
Thank you, everybody. When I wrote this skit, I didn't realize it was going to be so long, so I'm going to change, and I'm not going to be a stand-up comic. I'm going to be a sit-down comic. I didn't think I could stand that long, so I apologize. I want to tell you a story about a trip that I took, and all the things that I saw, and the things that I did when I was there. My friend John asked me if I wanted to go on a free trip to Alaska for a week with him and his wife. He says, they're totally free. I said, what's the catch? He says, no, there's no catch. He says, he has a vacation home there, and if I like what I see and I buy one from him, he gets a commission. And then if I sell a house to somebody, I get a commission, he gets a second commission. So I said, oh, that's a pyramid scheme. He said, don't be so stupid. He said, the pyramids are in Egypt, not in Alaska. So I said, geez, how can you argue with an argument like that? So I said to myself, I'm retired. Hey, I'm going on vacation. I ain't never going to buy one of those houses. So we flew into a small town in Alaska where he keeps his dog sleds. And he asked me, do you want a slow trip or a fast trip? I said, do you have a gas pedal on that dog sled? And he says, I got 4 male dogs and 1 female dog. If I want a slow trip, I put the 4 male dogs up front and the female dog in back, and we go along and we look at the scenery. And he says, if I want a fast trip, I put the female dog up front and the 4 dogs in back, and she runs like crazy to get away from the 4 dogs, and they run after her, and I have no idea what they're trying to do, but we do go a lot faster. We stop at the top of a high hill looking down on the town, and there's hundreds of houses, all the same. I said, how can you tell which house is yours? He says, I can't tell. He says, well, my dogs have the area staked out. And sure enough, they took us right to his front door. I noticed when I walked in there, there was no carpet, no wood floor, no floor at all. I asked, why don't you have a floor? He says, they did that on purpose. When you're trying to sell a house to someone out here in Alaska, no matter how many years we've been selling this house, you can honestly tell them they still have time to get in on the ground floor. He tells me every house has a generator to supply electricity. I noticed he had a large TV, and I asked how his reception was. And he said, well, it's not really good. He says, a lot of people buy really expensive rabbit ears to get a better picture. He said he couldn't afford the expensive rabbit ears, so he went out and caught a real live rabbit. And he put it in a cage, and they made a pet out of it. And every time they want to watch TV, they put the cage and the rabbit on top of the TV. He says, I don't know whether it's the juice from the TV to the rabbit or from the rabbit to the TV, but the picture comes in a whole lot better. He says, the only problem is both the rabbit and the TV picture keeps jumping up and down. I asked if they had running water, and he says no, but they can buy all the bottled water that they need. He says there's a factory at the edge of town that sends trucks out, and they pick up all the snow, and they bring it to this factory, and they melt it down after they take out the yellow snow, because everybody owns dogs up there. And they bottle the water, and they sell it to the homeowners. I think he uses that yellow snow to bottle organic material water. I've been told it's not a very big seller, and also it leaves a very bad taste in your mouth. So the next day I happened to meet the factory owner, and I asked him, how's business going? And would you believe he starts singing to me? He says, there's no business like snow business. There's no business I know. I get all the snow for free. I charge a large bottle delivery fee. All the profits come to me, which makes me as happy as can be. I think he was drinking more than bottled water that day. I noticed that the house had no bathroom. I asked my friend, where do I go when I want to go to the bathroom? He says, every house has a brick path going from their house to the center of town where several bath houses are located. I said, are there signs how to get there? And he says, no. I said, well, how am I going to find the restrooms? He says, his town has several hundred old people, and a lot of them, even though they have good intentions, never make it all the way, and they have to stop and relieve themselves along the road. I said, well, how does that help me find the restrooms? He said, well, all you gotta do is follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. I asked my friend, how do they wash up? And he says, every time it rains or snow, everybody takes off all their clothes, grab the bar of soap, and run outside. And after they shower, they jump into his hot tub. I asked, what does your neighbor say when he sees you staring at his naked wife? He said, all the homeowners have a saying, just like a big insurance company has. And their slogan is, like a good neighbor, it's fair to stare. John tells me sometimes his wife doesn't want to go out and shower, but his neighbor says, hey, I'll always have your back, don't worry about it. His neighbor's wife didn't like John at all, and she used to give him dirty looks and a cold shoulder. During the dark period, there was a vacant house next to John's, and when the night times are over, he found a couple, a man and his wife and 12 kids living in that vacant house. They spoke a different language. He thinks maybe they snuck across the border from Canada. John asked him, how much did you pay for your house? And the guy says, oh, I didn't buy the house. I'm home sitting for the owner. He says, well, the only problem is, I don't know who the owner is, so I can't tell him this big favor I'm doing for him by staying in this house with my 12 kids. He confides me and says that he works for the government, the Canadian government. He's an undercover agent. And he says he gets paid for every kid he has. And the more kids he has, the more he gets paid. And judging by the size of his family, I think he's doing a real good job, and I think he spends a lot of time under the covers doing his cover work. These neighbors with the 12 kids were always leaving his hot tub dirty and a mess, and he decided to build a large wall around his hot tub and make them pay for it. Does that ring a bell? No, all right. Friday morning, John wakes me up all excited and says, hurry up and get dressed. I said, why? He said, it's raining out, and today is tag sale day. I said, why are you so excited about a lousy tag sale? He said, you don't understand. It's snowing and it's tag sale day. So I said, okay, so we'll go outside. And the first tag sale we stop at, he buys a rusty screwdriver for 50 cents. We then walk away, and lo and behold, there's a family, mostly women, outside showering. John stops and talks to the ladies about the weather, how we normally don't get snow this time of year, and how we need the water, and he goes on and on talking about things in general. Then we walk to the second tag sale. In less than 2 minutes, he buys a hat for 25 cents. And then we continue walking down the road. Lo and behold, there's another family taking a shower. So of course he stops and talks to the ladies, talking about the weather and how it's unusual to snow this time of year. And after he finishes talking, we walk down the road to a third tag sale. Then he picks up a strange tool and says, this is just what I've been looking for. And he buys it, and we continue down the road. The next showering lady that John talks with, He says how pretty her eyes are and how beautiful she looks. I later asked him, what color were her eyes? And he said, to be truthful with you, I didn't look up that high. I felt like I was traveling with the weatherman. We went home after several more drag sales, and he took all the treasures out and laid them out on the table. I asked him what that tool was and what it did, and he says, I have no idea. He then picked up all the treasures and looked at me with a big smile and threw them all in the garbage. And he turned to me and he said, what a great day this has been. I know. Then he started telling about all the fun things they have to do in this area. Okay. They have fishing, they have hockey, hunting, skiing, skating, and they have an 18-hole golf course. And they have no trees, so there's no out of bounds. They use up all the trees with their firewood. They have no water holes because the water would freeze. They have no sand traps because they use the sand for the roads. All the fairways are built with a slight downward slope, so that after you hit your black golf ball, it rolls another 100 yards before it stops. We have a par 3 hole, and my friend John shot a hole-in-one. My turn was right up next on the very same tee, and I did better than John did. Now, some of you golfers may say, you can't do better than a hole-in-one, but I'll tell you that I did do better. And I'll tell you how it was possible. I bent over to place my ball on the tee, and it fell off the tee and started to roll. Well, would you believe it rolled faster and faster? It rolled across the fairway, it rolled up on the green, and it rolled into the cup. Now, I didn't have to take a stroke because I never swung at the ball. So although John had a hole-in-one, I had a hole-in-none. I was anxious to get back to the States and tell everybody how I shot a total score of 33 on an 18-hole golf course. I was told every Friday night was men's gambling night. They play all kinds of games, and one that I never heard of was called a 50-50. They have all the men get into the room and spend $40, which is the prize money. Then they're all given a 6-pack of beer and given 1 hour to drink all the beer. After they're all done drinking the beer and they show their empty bottles, they're told to take off all their clothes and leave on just their underpants. Then they put on a screen showing Niagara Falls and the water falling over the fall, over the fall, over the fall. They're going crazy, trying and dancing around, trying not to do what they really want to do. The last man standing with dry underpants gets 50% of the prize money. The other 50% goes to the janitor. He really cleans up in more ways than one. I was told for a small fee that ladies could watch them in on a hidden camera. It is unbelievable what men would do to take their mind off what they want to do. There were men doing crazy dancing, crossing their legs, banging their heads against the wall, jumping up and down, and slapping their faces, acting like fools. Some ladies say, hey, they can watch men act like fools every day without having to pay for it. If they had ladies playing these games, I would gladly play to watch. I guess the saying, a fool and his money is soon parted, is true. But also saying you can't take it with you is also true. They have many other games on Friday night. The most popular game is bingo. They have an Italian version which is made much more difficult. It is called lingo, L-I-N-G-O. All the numbers are in Roman numerals. I decided I would try to play that game. They call out CCXVI under the N. And with a slight pause, LXXVII under the G. I said, "Yeah, wait a minute, I'm still working on the first number." They ignore me and say, MLXXIL under the L. I said, "Well, you wait, I can't try to catch up." They completely ignored me and they started calling out a number. I got up and I said, "What the hell am I playing this game for?" The announcer who calls all the numbers says, "Shut up and sit down and watch your lingo." I said, "Well, I'm not going to stand for that." I got up and I told that 6'5" man, 300-pound guy, muscle-bound, lucky. I said, "You're right, sir. Thank you," and I left. You think I'm crazy? I wasn't going to tell them anything different. This is the last one. Saturday night is a dance night. The rules are you must bring your wife, you must be a homeowner, you must donate $40 for the prize money, you must dance the last dance with your wife. They take 10 wives and put them behind a curtain, and 10 husbands stand out front. They gave each wife a different colored hat to wear, and they open up the curtain and they count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they shut the curtain. Then he asked the first husband, "What color hat was your wife wearing?" If he says red, they ask the lady with the red hat to come out, and they say, "Is this your wife?" And if it is, he is told him and his wife go sit aside, and at the end of the night, they will share all the private, the money, the jackpot. They then go to the second one, and they have him call out a different color. And if she comes out wearing a yellow hat, and he asks, "Is this your wife?" And he says no, he said, "Well, you and that lady with the yellow hat, go sit at a table, and you're going to have to dance with her all night long, and we have an open bar that you can buy drinks for the rest of the night." They go through the entire series until finally everybody is paired up with a woman. And I was very surprised that not one of the men had picked his wife. And I said to John, "How is that possible?" He said, "Well, before these men can play, they are told what happened years ago when they first ran this, when they first ran this dance. 3 men picked their wives, and they got to collect all the prize money. However, a strange coincidence happened later that night. These 3 men that had won all the money woke up to find their houses on fire. They called the volunteer fire department, and they all came out with their buckets and their dogs. They had the dogs fill up the buckets with that yellow stuff, and they threw it onto the fire. They were not making much progress putting the fire out, so they called out their special fire department. The team was made up of every child in town from 5 to 16 years old. They all made snowballs and threw the snowballs into the houses that were on fire. They didn't have a snowball's chance in hell of putting that fire out. What a sight that must have been. The fire's red glow with snowballs melting in air came through the night. The fire was still there. One man in the crowd said, "Oh, say, do you think I care? What they got was only fair." The 3 houses burnt to the ground. The 3 families left town. I was told that no man ever won that dance contest again. And in closing, you may not believe this, but I bought a house for my friend John. I'm going on vacation there next week. Please raise your hand if you'd like to come with me on a free vacation. Yeah.
Well, it looks like the Windsor Senior Center has some comedic chops. Between you and Edna, we had some wonderful laughs. So thank you for that. We're going to take a short intermission where we will be regaled. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Casey. I hope everybody's enjoying the show so far. We have a whole second set coming up for you, so stay tuned, stretch your legs, use the restroom. I would like to comment real quick. Our friends from Win TV are here today, so thank you to Mike and Howard from Win TV for being here. We will have DVDs of the show available for purchase. If you'd like one, let us know in the Senior Center within the next week or so. We'll be taking a total number of DVDs and we'll let Win TV know. Thank you so much for being here today. There was something else, and now I'm drawing a blank like Edna. I think it's something about the stage. Stretch your legs. I'll let you know when you come back. Thank you all. Up next is Andrea Schnur reading her beautiful poetry. Andrea, take it away.
Can you hear me? No? Ah, there we are. Hi, tough acts to follow. I will be amazingly graceful before the Amazing Grace. I'm also a member of Elizabeth Thomas's writing workshop class. It's not just poetry, it's all kinds of writing. We enjoy each other, we enjoy our writing, and I urge all of you who have any inkling that you want to do any kind of writing at all, it's a wonderful class, and we meet basically every other Monday at 10 o'clock. So. I became more serious. Elizabeth inspired me to become more serious about my writing. I'd always dabbled in it, and I started writing, and lo and behold, it became memoirs, and they're all in pieces in narrative poetry form, and it's shaping up to be a memoir. Today I've chosen 2 of these pieces to read. I'm hoping that as you listen to them, some of the things from days of yore will ring true to you too, and will spark some memories. The first one is called Free Ranging in the 50s. Flying down the hill on a blue painted sled, saved from the street by plowed snowbanks, trudging uphill again, sled in tow, on top of crusted snow. Who can last longest before crunching through? Till darkness, coming early, and kitchen windows warm with light, yellow panes reflected on purple snow, telling us to go inside, but oh, just one more ride. Oh, pioneer, my father's log pile, a fine backdrop for Laura Ingalls dramas, braving bitter winters and scorching summers, out on the prairie or in the big woods, resourcefully using gooseberries, purple, round, glossy, for food, only pretend of course, smart enough not to eat them. Or gathering always in Jeannie Ryan's yard because of her father's perfectly flat, soft, manicured lawn, perfect for cartwheels or hide and seek, or blind man's bluff, fox and geese trails in the winter snow. Jeannie, a young equestrian, made us play horses, snorting and galloping. She, always White Star or Black Beauty, we, relegated to play lesser steeds, unglamorous of name. Playing in the street a lot, parents not particularly troubled by this. Hopscotch drawn with pieces of track rock, which works as well as chalk. Jump rope, all of us experts at red hot pepper and double dutch. And biking, endless pedaling, sometimes going for miles, even down Gurleyville Road, as far as the abandoned button factory, an eerie place. Heading home when the sun slanted. Where have you been? Oh, around. Some adventures best kept to themselves. Sometimes, taking the woodsy path home from school, the boys would lay in wait to bean us with acorns or snowballs. Not considering this to be particularly malevolent, just boys being their dumb selves. Loving to read and sometimes racing home to have some time with my book, especially if it was Nancy Drew or a new Little Lulu comic book. And even younger me, loving my 2 dollhouses, one metal, one wood, endlessly arranging and rearranging the furniture. Or donning cowboy boots, a Stetson, and holstering a pearl-handled 6-shooter, a small Roy Rogers who always saved the day. Our skinny knees always scabby, skin chapped in winter, mosquito welted in summer, our feet toughened by barefooted days, able to run over gravel or bee-infested clover, blackened with dirt by nightfall, my father often remarking that I could grow a good crop of potatoes on them. This second one, second and last, is called The Trip. I was a little older here. setting off for Florida with the confidence of youth and nothing much else. A pot, 2 mess kits, 2 backpacks, 2 army cots, a canvas pup tent, a cooler, almost no money, 1 week, and lots of optimism. All packed into my green Mustang with 4 on the floor and no air conditioning. Barbara's concerned father arranging a last-minute AAA triptych for us marked with KOA camps, as well as loaning us his ancient and heavy Army equipment, sending us off with his doubts, stopping at my parents' and being sent off from there with worried expressions, continuing south, undaunted by the increasing heat and the highway roar in our ears, reaching Georgia and the wonders of south of the border, stopping in Savannah at a fountain in an eerily silent square, locals knowing not to be out in the heat of the mid-afternoon, marveling at our first live oak, draping strands of Spanish moss over our slim shoulders, setting up a camp of sorts, cooking SpaghettiOs in our pot over a borrowed sterno, watching our shoes float by during a torrential squall, thankful for our cots. The next day, stopping on the interstate to run reveling into our first orange grove, on to St. Augustine, this time hammering tent pegs into a sandy beach, only to have our heavy tent collapse in a gust of gritty wind, a nice man helping us to repitch and anchor. The next day, moving on to Venice, to the air-conditioned splendor of Barbara's deaf grandma's home, and going to a deserted beach to float on calm Gulf waters, so warm that it made us ill. Then on to Alabama to visit a boyfriend stationed at Fort Rucker. More rain, making camping all but impossible, and being sneaked into a colonel's office, the 3 of us sleeping on the floor under a large, pointing Uncle Sam poster. Rising at reveille and beating a hasty exit before being discovered by some muscular MP and being subjected to an unknown fate. Driving north toward home, dusty, sunburned, disheveled, but happy in our exuberance. And Elizabeth, give a wave. There she is. Thank you so much for your inspiration.
Elizabeth, if you could stand up so everybody can see who you are. If you could just stand up so everybody can see who you are. No. Stand up. If I have to stand here, you gotta stand.
I just want to say I thought that was wonderful. I guess maybe because I had so many of those same experiences as a child, those really touched me. That was wonderful.
All right, thank you so much. So, yeah, Sherry wants to know if you can get her out of work to come, so.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll take a note from you.
I was going to say, I'll write you fast.
Okay. And as I had said before, our next very special act, performing Amazing Grace a cappella. I'm crossing my fingers that I got it right this time. Please give it up for Miss Linda Heaven.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. Was grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved.
I was up here before I first believed. Through many danger, toil, and snare, I have already come. As grace that taught my heart to say, and grace will lead me home.
That really speaks for itself. That was just beautiful. Thank you so much. And what a perfect name, Linda Heaven, singing Amazing Grace. So, that's just perfect. This next act is sure to get you moving in your seat. Please help me in welcoming Miss Bessie Garcia, performing 2 rumba gypsy dances. Bring it.
Ay, niña,
If that didn't get your blood flowing, you're not alive anymore.
Yeah, very fun. That was great. Up next, a fun bunch who is sure to have you moving and grooving. Please give it up for Kenny Fossil and the Relics.
This is in a building almost. I'm looking for the rest of the musical backup group here, but we're it. The song will be an Elvis rendition, and he asked the musical question. Fuzzy tree. My friends say I'm acting wild as a bug. I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Oh, yeah. Well, my hands are shaky and my knees are weak. I can't seem to stand on my own 2 feet. Who do you blame when you have such luck in love? All shook up. Well, please don't ask me what's on my mind. I'm a little mixed up, but I'm feeling fine. I got a girl that I love best. My heart beats so it's scared. July got her lips are like a volcano is hot. I'm proud to say that she's my buttercup. I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Ooh, yeah, yeah. You know my tongue gets tired when I try to speak. My inside shaking like a leaf on a tree. There's only one cure for this body of mine, and that's to have that girl that I love so fine. She touched my hand and what a chill I got. Her lips are like a volcano is hot. I'm proud to say that she's my buttercup. I'm in love. Ooh, I'm all shook up. Our name is really not the Fossils. That's just for the Witness Protection Program. Meet Linda Bodner, Lynn Gillette, and Bob Ellis. They won the dress light contest for Audrey Hepburn, including Bob. Now, we live in the Walden Woods area, and we just thought the Fossils was a better name for the group than Walden Weirdos. So here we are. Our next rendition of an Elvis song, I'd like to do more romantic-like.
Oh, no.
Hey, yeah, you'll like it, you'll like it.
How about blue suede shoes? Blue suede shoes.
Don't be cruel to a heart that's true.
Wrong key.
Do you people have trouble with your hired help like this? And the money you're getting paid for this gig, I'm telling you.
Show me the money.
Well, we'll try another beat then. Maybe the doo-wop. Don't be cruel.
No. Give it up, Kenny.
Nag, nag, nag. All right, in desperation, remember that boogie woogie beat? Would that please you? All right, try that.
Maybe.
Let's see, how did they go? Oh. Is that better? They like it. Well, you know I can be found sitting here all alone. If you can't come around At least please tell the phone, don't be cruel to a heart that's true. Baby, if I made you mad, hop, hop, something that I might have said, hop, hop, please don't forget the past, hop, hop, the future looks bright ahead. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't wanna stop thinking of me. Don't make me feel this way. Come on over here and love me. You know what I want you to say. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other. Maybe it's still yours. Let's walk up to the preacher. Come on, let him say I do. Then you'll know you have me, and I'll know that I have you. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other. Maybe it's still yours. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other. Maybe it's still yours.
Thank you very much.
Oh, there it is. I'm all shook up over that. That was amazing. Have some Elvis in the house. So now, if you could please take out your lyrics page that was provided to you. New to our show this year, get ready to join in the fun. Ms. Barbara Stavins will play the harmonica while you sing along. Now the question is, do you want me to stay at this microphone and sing or not? I'm thinking probably no. All right, let's give her a nice round of applause.
And you're going to sing 4 songs with me: the Tennessee Waltz, Oh Susanna, Blowing in the Wind, and Sweet John B. The Oh Susanna, if you look down where it says the buckwheat pigs, and it says say I'm coming, I'm going to sing I say I'm coming. Okay. I'm going to start off with the harmonica and then we'll sing. Thanks. You're welcome.
I was waltzing with my darling to the Tennessee waltz when an old friend I happened to see. I introduced her to my loved one, and while they were dancing, my friend stole my sweetheart from me. I remember that night and the Tennessee waltz. Only you know just how much I fits, threw away all my grits. Then he took and ate up all of my corn. Let me go home, I wanna go home. Oh yes, this is the first trip I've ever been on.
To close out our show today, last but absolutely not least, this is a special lady who just keeps on dancing. Please give a warm welcome to Miss Pauline Martin, performing for us today a hula to the song Tiny Bubbles.
Tiny bubble and wine make me happy, make me feel fine. Tiny bubble make me warm all over. Well, the feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. So here's to the golden moon, and here's to the silver sea, and mostly here's a toast to you and me. Tiny bubble and the wine, make me happy, make me feel fine, tiny bubble, make me warm all over, with a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. Tiny bubble, ooh, I'll leave you in the wine. You can make me happy. Oh, make me feel fine. You can in the tiny bubble, make me warm all over, with a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. With a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time.
It stopped just at the right time. Oh. I have something very special to share with you today. 50 years ago, today, June 6th, a very important day in my life. My husband Tom, my 3 children and I all arrived at J.F. Kennedy Airport to come to America. And it was an excellent decision. We've had a wonderful life. I lost Tom 3 years ago, but everything worked out well. I still have my children, my grandchildren, and just 2.5 weeks ago, my first great-grandson. Just one downer. On June 6th, 50 years ago, Robert Kennedy died. And Robert Kennedy is my fifth cousin. And Kennedy, yes, I was Jack Kennedy's daughter, but not the Jack Kennedy. And he was my father's fourth cousin, so that makes me his fifth cousin. Okay, so, wrong podium.
Got started, and it's time now to say so.